Hello, welcome back to the Honda Hornet Café racer build. This time we're going to be doing the electrics tray, the under tray, whatever you want to call it. So this is where I want the under tray. I've taped up a bit of cardboard, so I'm going to mark that because I want it to sit slightly inside from the bottom, but not be flush. So I'll mark this up, and then I'm going to have to cut out a piece of steel and spend ages grinding it up to make sure that it's a nice fit. So that's it marked. It's going to be a little bit tight getting it round these points, but I don't think I'll have too much trouble. So I'll take that out, I'll cut out a piece of steel, and then I'm going to spend ages grinding it, trying it, which I'm not going to film. So next time you see it, hopefully it'll be somewhere near fitting in. So that's rough cut out now. I will try it in, see how it fits. Ooh, that's not bad. It needs to come up a little bit. It's okay on one side there, needs to come up, and a little bit at the front, and a little bit there. But it's not bad. Obviously needs to have a bend put in here, so not bad. A little bit more grinding, and then once I get it close I'll put the bend in and then do that part. But it's getting there. So I've got that pretty close now, so that fits in there. It's up against there, and it's pretty good at that end. I could show you with a rule underneath, but it's trying to hold it, film it is almost impossible. Once it's tacked I can show you. So I'm going to now bend it, and that is the start of my bend there, and that is the end of the bend. Ideally I would have had something the same radius as this bend to bend it around, but I haven't. So what I'm going to do is bend it little increments around a piece of pipe. It's not much of a bend, and hopefully that'll get that sorted, and then we'll have another look at it. So I've planted to the bench with a bit of pipe. I obviously can't fit it in the vise. I could do with like some open jaws, like a workbench would do it, a workmate. But I'm going to gradually just bend that, move it up a little bit, bend it, and keep that nice and flat. Do you know, I don't think that's going to be far off. I don't think that's going to be far away, so I'm going to try it again. It doesn't look too bad. You have to just do off another little tickle at it, but we'll see what that works like. Go and see. Right, so after much grinding and in and out and in and out, no point in showing you it. It's the only way to do it, and you just got to be patient. But after much work, the seat base is done. It fits nice. I got the bend. In the end, I got the bend by what I did was marked start and finish of the bend, and basically just went round, bending it over the edge of the bench, tweaking it with a rubber hammer not to mark the thing, checking it, taking it back out, bending it a little bit more, and just worked it like that till I got a nice bend. If it was onshore, it might want to be a bit better, but where it is underneath, it looks okay. It's not perfect, you just feel little bumps in it. I might play with it a little bit more. Dressed all the edges up so it's not sharp, and then what I'll have to do is clamp it and check it as it goes in, make sure everything's nice and tight, and then just tack it all in place. I'm going to weld it from the inside where it's seamless, and then like my other welds that I've got something in mind for, I'm going to do that around the underside. So I'll try now to show you what it looks like on the bike without it being clamped. Let's see. So that slides in, let's put that little dink there and there for where it slides around the legs of the support, and then that just drops into there quite nicely. It's nicely up against the bottom of there. It fits nice there. I'll see if I can get a shot from underneath. That goes in there. It's the best I can do for the shot. There's a little bit of gaps, but I'm not too concerned about that. But that is, I don't know if you can see, about 4 or 5 millimeters back from the frame, which is what I wanted. So you really won't see it once it's finished. That'll get welded in and powder coated with the rest of the frame. But I'm happy with that, that's good. So before I weld in the under tray, I've got to get this seat latch sorted out. So it was going to be a cable, but I've been looking at other options, and what I came up with was this. So that fits in where the cable pull would go. And then you put a little hole through the bottom of the tray, and you would just do that from underneath. Simple. It would have but it would just mean that there was a small slotted hole underneath there, so you could just go and lift the tray off. But the more I started to think about it, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a key operate system? And this is the lock off the original seat release lock, and this just works by, you turn that and it turns that little thing and pulls a lever. So I took the little spring clip out, took that off, just made up this bit of scrap plate, filed like a flat on it, so that fits on there quite nicely, and then if you turn the key, that turns that. So what I'm thinking is, instead of that one, we'll have a U-shaped one, threaded just the same. That will fit in there. That will fasten into the bottom of the metal plate, the electrics tray. That will go through there, and when you turn the key, that will pull that. So what I need to do is, I need to thread that like that, so that holds itself in place, and put a thread on, locking nuts, so that goes into there like that, and then that, when it turns, it should pull that backwards and forwards. Right, I've had to spread that out a little bit so I can get into thread using a die, this bit of bar, 6mm bar. Ideally I would have had maybe a die nut, which would have worked, been easier, but I've got a 6mm die. This isn't a split die, it's just a normal die, so with a split die you can adjust how tight or how slack the thread is. So first thing, make sure you've got a little bit of a, let's have a look. Make sure you've got a little bit of a lead onto your bar. Keep that nice and straight. Get it started, you'll feel it start to bite, and try and keep it level. Make sure your bar's at 90 degrees, nice and straight. Once you get it away, a little bit of wiggle room as it cuts its way on. Maybe should have put a bigger lead on. Right, so that's away, and I can see that that is straight. Use a bit of WD because I haven't got anything else. You can get proper stuff for cutting threads. Keep backing it off, a little bit of a turn, back it off. This allows it to clear the swath inside, get lubricated, and just work your way down to where you want. Try a nut on it. That's fine. It's not a great thread. Really should get some thread cutting stuff. But that's that threaded. Now I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I've put the latch in, and I've got all the bits. So I've put a couple of washers between there so it doesn't squash it. And then this piece in my little link, which I'd obviously make a bit nicer. Maybe I'll put my bolt, this nut. Put a nut on there. I'd remake all this if it works, and then that's me that fits on there, so that would go in the bottom of the metal under tray onto there. And the theory is you turn the key and it pulls the latch. The only problem is that key is already starting to bend. The spring here is quite strong, so it does work, but I think over time I would end up bending that key. So I think despite all that work, I can't risk snapping the key in the lock just for having a hidden lock that takes the seat off. Yes, that's going to be there and someone could pop the seat off while I'm away. I could put a weaker spring on, but then if the seat moves a little bit, will it pop off? I might try it with a weaker spring. I've just got to make my mind up because I've got to get this under tray welded in. That's going to be the way to go. Simple is often better. That's a shame. Would have been nice to have it locking, but I could possibly think about that later, and then it would only be a little hole to weld up. I've decided to go with the bit of bar that you pull rather than the key. The key was starting to bend. I tried different springs to the point where the spring was barely doing anything, and it was just really the spring in the lock. Just not confident that it's going to stay latched properly for the sake of having the lock on there, and it did look a bit clunky and ugly, so I've gone with the other one. Right, so the under tray, I managed to find a couple of magnets, nice strong magnets, so that now it went in earlier. Oh, I know why. These bolts are too long. No! I've cut the bolts down now. Obviously they were the wrong size. I've put that in, and I don't know whether it'll work this way, and it's not going to. So I will take this back out. So that will go back in. And the magnets are pretty strong. That one's in the way of the screw. So that holds that in there now. That goes in there. That's bolted up, and that's just a little pull on there, and that will release it. Try the seat on. Oh. Okay. So what I haven't done is cut this off. No! So I'll take that back out and I'll cut it off. So I've cut that down now. So that's what it looks like. It's I put a couple of washers in there, stop it compressing, and that just pulls like that. I've bent that over just to make a little bit of a guide, but I might make another guide to go on. So back down there. Right, there you go, all cut down. So we will try in the seat again, knowing that if for any reason the latch doesn't work, at the moment this is only held in by magnets. Right, so that is on. So it should be just reach under there, pull that, and off it comes. That is not coming off, so it has to be released. That works lovely, so I'm happy with that. The undertray's in, the latch is working, I'm happy with the way it is. You barely see it. I'll tidy it all up so that it's only coming through by a tiny amount. Maybe to make a slightly nicer pull, I don't know. So I will tack that undertray in 4 or 5 places, and then next time it'll be electric components on the undertray, check the wiring loom, make sure all of that all fits okay before I go any further. So if you're enjoying this build, like, subscribe, press the notifications bell, follow us on Instagram, Facebook for more bits and bobs, and I will see you next Wednesday.